everyone, it's Renee. I'm going to be doing your spirit guide reading. I'm just trying to move my mic. I always feel like I am set up properly, and then as soon as I hit record, I'm like, oh, no, my mic is way too far away. So, the mic on my phone, which is actually what I use to record, kind of stinks, so I always use a external microphone. So this is your spirit guide reading. So I'm using a few different decks. I don't know if I'll use this one or not. I'm going to put that over here for now, but what I have is the Book of Shadows, So Below, the Goddess Guidance Oracle deck, and the Everyday Witches Tarot, which is my favorite, always. Also, as I was shuffling and getting these ready to go, I also got a ping, a little notification in my head to pull an animal card as well. I have 3 animal decks, but the Animal Wisdom Tarot is the one I've been working with a lot lately. Always feeling pulled to it. And it is a tarot, but it's also a little bit of an oracle, so I'm going to get out the guidebook for that. So I'm going to shuffle this and get it ready. I don't know when this is going to come up in the reading. I just know that your guide is putting the idea of an animal in my head and wants me to pull a card at some point here in the reading. Also, as I'm going into this, I'm seeing repeating 5s. At first I thought I was seeing repeating 2s, but I think they're repeating 5s. So repeating 5s. Honey, like honey nectar, comes to mind. Oh, come back. Alright, I guess we're kind of done. Did I drop anybody? I have a thing though. I always shuffle and over shuffle 7 times from the time I feel the deck is cleared all the way through 7. Okay, so I'm not feeling a certain animal in particular. I'm just feeling that drawing from the animal deck is going to come up throughout the reading. So what I'm going to kind of do is I have a spread I like to work with for this reading. So we're going to start with that, and then we're going to kind of progress from there and just go intuitively. We may go off different ways and stuff. The main deck we'll be working with is the Everyday Witches Tarot, and then sometimes when I feel drawn to pull from one of the other decks, I will pull from one of them. But first of all, we'll start with like the personality of the spirit guide that's present here today. So we have Maeve, Cycles and Rhythms, from the Goddess deck, and then from the Tarot, the 8 of Swords. So I'm going to go ahead and read about Maeve from the Oracle book, and then I will then we'll go through that a little bit. For Oracle books, or for Oracle decks, I do sometimes use the book, sometimes not. I just think, especially in the Angel and Goddess books, Oracle books, the messages are just really nice, and oftentimes there's like something hidden in there for you that you'll notice that I won't really notice. So Maeve, Cycles and Rhythms. Honor the cycles of your body, energy levels, and emotions. All of life is cyclical. Cyclical? The moon, the stars, and the very universe. Life inhales, then exhales again. So why should you be surprised or upset that you too have a cycle? There are times when you feel energized, awake, and alive. There are other times when you feel isolated and shy. Your body too goes through pronounced cycles and changes. Celebrate these rhythms and embrace them as the essence of the lifeblood that courses through you. So Maeve is a Celtic goddess of femininity. Her sexual appetite is legendary, and she's been said to favor kings as her lovers. Legend says that Maeve invoked labor pains on an army seeking to invade her land, awesome, and that she demanded that the battle cease during her menstrual cycle. Call upon Maeve for relief from pain associated with feminine cycles, including menopause, labor and delivery, and menstruation. She can also help with emotional crisis, changing in life, or lulls in your productivity. So what I find is very interesting with her being present here alongside the Eight of Swords is I feel like you're in some kind of I just did a reading for someone else who was also in a moment like this, totally different cards, but same vibe, like in a moment of feeling like you're at a stop, like there's a as you were going along, kind of building this spiritual journey, going down the spiritual path, and then you're starting to feel more alive, feel more from your spirit guides, then all of a sudden you have like a stop. You know, it's pretty common. I mean, we can't just like be these amazing celestial beings all the time. We also have to be human, and because of that, the human side can get us down. So I feel like she's here to kind of just remind you, like, she is a lifelong spirit guide. She's with you your whole life, but you know, she's one of many, and she comes to you just to remind you that even though you may be having a hard time hearing her or understanding her right now, or that you're just starting to notice signs and you know, synchronicities, and notice patterns that she's placing before you, or that angels or your divine are placing before you, and you don't, you know, you notice them, but you don't really know what they mean yet. Don't let yourself get down over it. Don't feel like you are chained up and locked up and you can't move any further. It's just, you know, it's a cycle, it's a rhythm, it's a moment. You know, you learn to walk, and I mean, some kids do learn to run immediately, but you know, most learn to take a step and then another step and another. And it's the same really with any path, spirituality, you know, magic, growth, any kind of growth. You're going to have moments where you feel like you've kind of hit a wall, but the wall is just temporary, because these are cycles. These are just moments in your life where you hit a lull, hit a block, but it's only so you can appreciate the moment that you're in, and then step over and go on to the next part of your life. If everything was just go, 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 and we had everything that we want like come to us all the time, there would be definitely less appreciation, you know, and that's a lesson that I too, you know, need to work on all the time, is this appreciating the moment. And that's why a lot of people do that, you know, preaching live in the moment, live in the now, the power of now, is because we're so focused on, okay, I reached this moment, but I can't get any further, or I reached this, but I don't understand what it means. And you know, we can't all understand all of it all at once. So I do feel that she's here with you just to let you know you may have been gaining speed in one of your interests, one of your paths, and then you felt like you hit a block, but not to worry, because it's just a cycle. It's all a cycle. How she is helping you right now. So I do definitely feel female energy here. You know, obviously I pulled from the Goddess deck, and the Witch's Tarot is filled with more females than males, but I do feel a female energy. And I do just want to say that right off the bat here. Feeling the letter T, I feel like there is their name. It starts with the name letter T. I mean, and this is spirit guide. I'm not doing, you know, this isn't someone who passed or anything like that, but it's T. It's a spirit guide, and they are, I think their name is Talia, Tiana, what I would do if this interests you, and you don't have to do this, is if you do feel interested in this tea that I'm picking up here, I would just maybe look at female tea names, maybe just look through a list and not really go on with any expectations, but if one sticks out or stands out or grabs you, I feel like that's a name that you can refer to her as. I can't pick up the name really clearly. I do feel like it's Talia, but every time I say that, I keep feeling, no, almost, but that's not quite it. So, but I do feel that that is in the realm of her name and what you can call her if you want to. So how she's currently helping you is the King of Swords. I feel like a redirection. There's been redirection in some part of your life. Something that you've been doing one way. This could be in any area of your life. It could be a relationship, a friendship, a hobby activity, a way you clean the house on Saturday afternoons. But there's like a moment, an understanding, and it was brought to you, and it came it felt like out of nowhere, but it wasn't out of nowhere. This was her knowledge, her kind of pinging this part of your mind to wake up and see there is an easier way to do this. Maybe the relationship or the friendship was taking more of you than you were getting back from it, or perhaps it was one that was bringing out a bad side of you that you didn't like, you didn't care for. It wasn't bringing out your highest self, and because of this, you made a drastic change. And I feel like this is your energy. This is you growing. Spiritually, emotionally, mentally, your growth is strong, but she's the one who kind of just pinged you in the mind and was like, hey, it's time to make a change. You know who you want to be, you know what you want to do. So I'm going to move some of the stuff around here. So maybe it's time for you to make this change. And I feel like she definitely lit a little bit of a fire in you, but in the long run, it was you that made this decision. It wasn't her that made a decision or carried it through. And it can be something that you're still kind of working through, still pondering on, and you feel like I get a sense that you feel more confident in this area mentally than you feel like you should have a right to. Like maybe this change is something that's an intuitive change. There's a friend maybe, or a coworker who's not truthful with you, not honest, and though no one else has really picked up on it, you have somehow just been able to decide, this is not a connection I want to be part of. I can't trust them anymore. And you don't know why yet, and so sometimes you kind of question that, but that is within you. And I feel like that's that mental cap of humanity basically was placed over your intuition for a long time, and she's been kind of helping you move it out of the way and see that intuition and mind can be one of the same, and see that you don't always have to have extreme reasons for not trusting someone or stepping away from someone, because already, intuitively, that they're not right for you, or that situation is not right for you, and you're making a change. So that's how she's currently helping you. And how can you help yourself as she's helping you? King of Cups. So that's interesting here to see her helping you with the King of Swords and you helping yourself with the King of Cups. Be kind to yourself. Stop judging yourself. Stop expecting so much of yourself that sometimes, instead of reaching for the stars, instead you're setting yourself up for failure by overextending. And by failure, I mean, you could reach a point where all of a sudden you have zero energy left, or there's just literally no time left in the day or the week or the month to get everything done, be everything to everyone, or you reach the end of the day and you want to be as happy as this person or as rich as this person. And the thing is, you don't feel jealous. You feel, it's almost like you could beat yourself up about it. Like you look at moments in time and think, if I had done this differently or done this differently, and a tendency to dwell on those moments. So I definitely feel, be kind to yourself. Some of the self-esteem, some of the negative talk can affect your intuition and affect that clarity sound, really hearing what she's saying to you and what you need to hear from yourself, from your higher self too. And then recognizing when your guide is talking to you. The Page of Pentacles, and I like to draw from the Brain Freeze. Come on, not Brain Freeze, Brain Fart. Book of Shadows, so below deck for signs, for ways to see that they're talking to you. So here we have the Page of Pentacles. This youthful energy, but even in its youthful energy, he or she is still well thought out, making plans, instead of rushing into things, truly, you know, planning money, maps, really making the, like, you know, just a good plan. I'm trying to think of a word I want to use. Like if you're going on itinerary. So itinerary, you know, this is, I feel, combined here, you know, the Fool is leaping off into the unknown without a second thought, really. And then we have the Page of Pentacles, which is overthinking. I think you're hearing this overthinking. This is where you are. Sometimes, and I mean, the thinking, the planning, all that stuff is good. It's perfect. But in excess, it can prevent us from really living our truest desires and going into our truest and highest selves. And with the Fool here, I feel that sometimes you kind of leap into things, and there's really no indication that is present, is visible, or verbal that you know of that you will succeed in this, but you feel like you just have to do it. And sometimes you can be conservative with your energy or conservative with your money, and then other times it's just like a giant burst of you really want to do it. And I feel that's her giving you that full energy, giving you that leap out into the unknown, and stepping a little bit away from your usual careful planning. This candle is like, okay, let's hope we don't catch on fire. And then we have, sorry. So then we have the Ten of Swords. Again, it's like walking away from something. I feel that is your intuition that is awakening. That's something I saw a little bit earlier in the reading, walking away from someone, something, making a big change in life. That's her speaking to you. That's her, you know, stepping inside your mind, or not stepping inside your mind, she's always with you, but I mean, helping you awaken your intuition and your unconscious level that sometimes you have a tendency of burying, because we're here on earth and that's what we do. So I feel in that sense, when you have moments where, let's say you walk into a room and you feel uncomfortable about someone. A lot of this is your intuition, but a lot of it is like her making extra sure you're hearing your intuition at that moment. You know, some people might, you know, put on a good face and then make us think that everything is okay, that they're a good person, that they have our best interest at heart. But, you know, really they don't. And we might miss those, but the ones that are truly dangerous, that kind of sneak up out of nowhere in our lives, she is certain to make sure that you are hearing that or awakening for that. And then the Seven of Wands here, I just feel like assertiveness. I feel, you know, there's been a lot of times in your life where you do take grief. You take you know, it's like other people try to give you their garbage, like they're upset and they try to give you their stress and anxiety, or they are they take a lot from you, like, can you run here and do this for me, do that for me, go do this, help me with that, and you'll do it because you feel like you need to be a good friend and a good coworker, a good person. You don't have to do all those things in order to be to be like, you know, a good person, but I feel that is somehow is inside you, ingrained in you, and when you feel the assertiveness and you can feel like you can say no, and you know, sometimes afterwards you might be like, oh my god, I can't believe I just said no, I told her I wasn't going to do that. It's your guide. It's her helping you, giving you strength, giving you power. And that's another. Okay, so the monkey, the Two of Fossils, which it is traditional, it is tarot, but I do prefer with these the book. But I just got a ping here for the monkeys. Now I feel like there's something here in a sign. We're looking at yin and yang down there, and we're looking at the monkey right here. Literally watch for monkeys and these symbols in your life, and see when they appear. See, you know, when they appear out of nowhere. You know, a stuffed animal monkey in the back, you know, hanging from the back seat of someone's car in front of you. You know, what are you thinking about that moment? Your guides are probably near you. Your angels are looking out for you, trying to talk to you. Also, in the guidebook here, the monkey is playful and grounded, discovering what they really want. And for what we've been seeing here, that makes sense to me. I feel like there's been some changes, some differences recently, and it's hard to stay grounded, and you feel like you're having to be more flexible than you wanted to be. But I feel like the message here is you can do that. You can be flexible. You can make it through these changes and make it through more changes. However, I do feel really drawn to that monkey and that little symbol there. So, and I did get directed to pull that, I feel like, from in that how you can tell when your guide is talking to you portion of the reading. So I do feel like those are signs. A lesson to work on during this lifetime. The Two of Wands, and I feel a Goddess card. So fairness. I'll read this first, and then I'm going to Two of Wands. And I will hold it up too, because I know you can't see it. Matt? That's not right. Matt. All right. Matt. This situation will be handled fair and just manner. Oh, in a fair and just manner. Now, this is your lesson to work on during this lifetime, right? So, looking at this right away, I feel like you've been dealt some short sticks. Here, I can see that too here with the Two of Wands, looking off into the future, you know, trying to hold the world in your hands, but yet being held back by the past that's still holding you down. So here, it's like telling you, don't dwell so much in the past. These people that did you wrong, the person, I feel like there's a person specifically, you know, and it may have been a moment, and or that they brought you down, or it may have been years, but there's like a specific person I feel like still kind of weighs on you from time to time, and they are the person that they will be dealt with fairly and justly, and you will be taken care of by your guides and by yourself, and by yourself in your strength. So the guidebook for this card says, let me suggest another definition for fairness. It's when all parties involved surrender their personal agendas in favor of the greater good for the entirety of the group. This requires trust in the wisdom of the whole. When it comes to matters of disputes, the attacks are based on fears that you may not receive your share. Yet, attacks amplify the hurt and the pain that caused the dispute in the first place. Why not surrender your attachment to a specific outcome, and instead direct your holy will toward the resolution of an argument. Hold a firm vision of a peaceful outcome and let the pieces fall in place in a harmonious manner. However, I'm not feeling like this is an argument in this lifetime. I'm feeling more like this is a person from your past who is still weighing on you now. There's no resolution that's going to happen here. They did what they did. They hurt you. There's no moving past that. I mean, there's no fixing that, essentially. But instead of focusing on how you wish that day or that moment or those years had gone by differently, release that and just start working on moving from this day forward. And I think that's a lot when we see here, the world and the future and expansion, everything in front of us. Really looking forward to the future. Well, excuse me. That's not something we can do when we're still harboring onto the past, when we're still hanging onto the past. And that is a lesson we're all working through. So, it is just some things we have to let go of, or else it's going to follow us and it's going to kind of morph who we are. And it's going to keep us from living to our highest and fullest. Oh, sorry. Super thirsty. Okay. Gifts. So I feel I have gifts. So with the gifts, I do like to pull a couple cards. I prefer your guide to just drop one out, but I feel, there we go. Thank you. Thank you, Miss T. Oh, and that one just... All right, so your gifts in this lifetime. So we do have the Two of Cups, which I like. Oh, okay. I'll have to pull a guide out on this too. So these fire cards do have that traditional wands meaning, but I also love they have like these whole additional meanings based on like the god that's in them and the planet and everything, which I do not have all that kind of stuff memorized. However, gifts right here. So this is the Ten of Air, and again that's the same as Ten of Swords, which we saw in the her speaking to you. So here it is. All right. So Ten of Swords is the same as Ten of Air. However, in this Book of Shadows, as above deck, the blue bordered, we have more magical and spiritual meanings also with attached to these cards. So I don't know if you do work with and one of those cards is actually present in this part of your reading too, which is kind of neat, isn't it? Oh no, that's not that card. I thought that was that card. That's a different card. Never mind, sorry. So I don't know if you have worked with tarot or oracle yet. I really feel like that's something that you would enjoy. I do feel like, that's something a lot of people would enjoy. Like there's so many answers that we can turn to and understand just through tapping our intuition. It's not the first time we felt intuition for you throughout the reading, so I'm not surprised to see that come up. If it's not tarot or the oracle that gets you up and running, then there's pendulum work. With the pendulum, there's scrying, there's dream work, there's all kinds of things. So I do feel really good here about some kind of tapping into your intuition and your higher self. Now, with the elements, this is one. This is also the same as the Magician within a regular tarot. So this is a lot. Everything that you have is all around and within. So I'm not sure if you are into like doing spells and stuff like that, but I feel like that's something that you would probably do pretty well at. I feel like it's something that would fit in with your aesthetic, and it's something too that you would have success with. And I'm feeling like a lot of law of attraction for you. I love that for a lot of people. I always feel that law of attraction, because that is a lot of what spell work is. It's that, starting with law of attraction and really focusing on positive and bringing that into your life, and then using that kind of energy and belief in yourself at that point to begin to manifest and create spells and everything to work through. So now that I want to look, see what god and planet we have here. I do have my book. Yay! This is my office, but it's also probably, you can see here, my youngest daughter's library. Because if she has the books in her room, they all end up in the bed at night when she's sleeping, so they have to stay in my office. Because if not, then she's up way too late. So this is Jupiter. Jupiter is like everyone's favorite uncle, generous, fun, and charming. He is also known as the great benefactor. He always is surrounded by... This book, this frustrates me. They have so many typos in this thing. Oh, it's annoying, but sorry. He always is surrounded by a crowd who bask in the favors flowing in his wake. Awesome. Jupiter is a large planet with astrologically packs a big punch. Jupiter represents expansion, growth, progress, and abundance. Although often associated with material good luck, Jupiter also blesses our lives in other ways by bringing joy, faith, inspiration, and understanding. All of these experiences usually lead to a healthy optimism that encourages us to expand our worlds with new experiences such as traveling, networking, or taking classes. The 5, a fire in a reading lets us know that good things are afoot and to enjoy them. This is the... Okay. Whatever lucky break comes your way is a gift, which can be enjoyed for its own sake or can be parlayed into something even greater. Use the happiness and optimism that the gift generates to create even more good luck by seeking out even more experiences. So this is... I feel like you're very... your mind, it absorbs a lot of things. You are able to, like if you have a new interest, like a new book, a new comic series, a new movie or TV series, and there's more to it, like there's more in depth, there's symbolism and stories behind the story. Like I feel like that's stuff that you really enjoy learning about, stuff that you enjoy finding, and if you can't find it, you do enjoy, personally can't find it while you're looking into it, you do enjoy also reading about or watching like videos on those symbolisms behind it. I think that's pretty interesting to you. And if it's not symbolisms, it's how did this come to be? How did this come to happen? So I feel like there's a lot of learning going on. And I think sometimes when people hear learning, they think, well, I'm not in college, I'm not in high school, I'm not learning. Well, we're all learning in our own ways and absorbing information. And I feel like that's something that's important to you, and it comes, actually comes rather easily to you. And then, so I again, that intuition, that learning and the elements all around. So I definitely feel if this is something that you haven't tapped into yet, it's time to tap into your psychic self and, pick up a book from the library or buy a book or just do research online or just sit down and see what you come up with. But this also came with a 2 of Cups. So I'm picking up here to explore these gifts more, to reach out to someone. Yes, this does show like more of a romantic relationship in this card, but it can be a mentor or a friend, family member. I feel like it's someone who maybe you have in your life that does explore this stuff already, or who is nearby that maybe you can find like a meeting group or something. But there is someone out there that I feel like you can reach out to locally, that you would be able to kind of learn more about this kind of stuff. And if you're already working on this kind of stuff, which I would not be surprised if you were, considering how many times I've been picking up on the intuition and stuff. If you're already working on it, then maybe there's someone you can work with locally, like an energy sharing group, or a energy masseuse, or your local esoteric shop, things like this, like people you can get in touch with, and some kind of change, some kind of difference there. But I feel like there's like a good friend out there for you to make, and that may even blossom, if you're not in a relationship, that may even blossom into a relationship. But I definitely feel like at the time it's a friend, an acquaintance that you need to help you further your skills and further your intuition, essentially. And then we go into I always love this one. So what is your connection? Oh, that's a funny one. What is your connection with the spirit guide when you are on spirit realm? So this, I'm sorry, I had to laugh a little bit. The Four of Pentacles. It's funny because I'm picking up like that learning vibe from you. This is like sitting on something. Literally, this guy is like sitting on a chest of money. Well, this is sitting on all that knowledge, and I feel like when you are in the spirit plane, you're like, Misty, da 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 da, help me out with this, help me out with that. And she is like, girl, just calm down, take a deep breath. And you're just like, no, I need to know how to do this. I want to know how to do this. Next life, I want to do that. I want to do this. Tomorrow, I want to dream about this and work through this shadow side of mine. So I feel like there's a lot happening there when you go, when you are in that, in the spiritual realm, in between lives, or, during really awesome nights of sleep. There is a chance that you are likely visiting with her here and there, especially since lately you've said that you've been having like this opening, and you've been starting to notice that she's out there and giving you signs. This is very believable to see and very understandable. Like, that is exactly how I am. Like, I try to be chill, but there are some nights where I'm just like, show it to me, show me everything. So I think, there's the excitement, and you just want to know it all, and you want to have it all now. And it's like, I don't want to share my time with you. I don't want to go on like little treks. I just want you to tell me, all these answers. So I feel it's kind of like it's a good relationship, but I feel sometimes she's just like, calm down, child, calm down. And it's interesting because I feel like it's a little bit different than the attitude you have here on the earthly plane. But when it comes to your spirituality and spiritual growth, I do feel like there's a lot of that excitement energy inside of you. Something you need to be aware of right now. So 10 of Pentacles, I am going to draw a few cards on that. I do feel some money, probably, finances, things looking good. Perhaps there's been a bill you've been trying to settle, like you don't owe it, but for some reason it keeps appearing, and it finally is being settled in your favor. Or there is a chance that like this is an inheritance, or and with the 10 of Pentacles, it is a lot about finances, but it may too be like how I see here, it's the knowledge and not finances. In the 4 of Pentacles, it may be an abundance of knowledge right now. So I'm very curious. So I shuffled and then split to a random part, and I really like what I got. It makes a lot of sense to me. So Judgment. Releasing the thoughts that things should run in a certain way or certain order. A should go to B, to C to D, whatever. There's a lot that we judge. Even people who, we seem, well, I shouldn't say we, though I hope I do, but we seem like we don't judge, there's still some judgments. There's still things like, I go into meditation and I try to leave judgment behind, but sometimes I end up going in expecting. That's the word, expecting and projecting, and I don't get what I think I'm going to get, because I am just pushing the expectation too hard on that. So when we have this appear, is definitely let go of the expectation. And so since I was feeling so strongly here, this Four of Pentacles about knowledge, and especially spiritual knowledge, there's a spiritual abundance coming towards you. I feel like if you haven't started yet, you're getting ready to do that whole giant spiritual awakening thing. You're like, but I feel like you've started. You've definitely been there, but I feel like you're like in that phase of exciting knowledge and learning and finding out the things that you always thought were just kind of nice thoughts, like, oh yeah, I have a guardian angel, that's nice. But now you're really starting to realize, oh, and they're real. So yeah, I feel that there's an abundance of information, spiritual growth coming your way. And just to relax, let the ride come, and not to place your expectations on the moments, but just let things come as they will. And then advice for your spiritual path. Ooh, the Page of Wands. Go into this with like an exciting, youthful, happy energy. Like, just, it's not, there really is no technically right or wrong ways to get in touch with your guides, to grow spiritually, to meditate. You know, you're just going to find things that work for you. There's this passion and fire inside of you, and it's just time to let that inner child, that youthful energy kind of come out and just lead, run away with that, that passion and excitement. I feel like, definitely don't listen to the Debbie Downers, you know, and if needs be, you know, out and you can't find communities in your town, you know, seek out online communities where you can be yourself, where you can reach out and understand what's going on. But I do feel there's an energy growing inside of you. It's just, and it's time for it to come out. It's time to start walking down that path and see where it leads. So I was compelled to pull three, what's the word? 3 cards for you. Sorry. Here at the end. So we have 2 5s here. The 5 of Feathers and the 5 of Branches. Yes, Branches, sorry. It's like I'm going to show you and then I take it away. I'm a turd. So these 2 5s, and I think in the beginning, going into meditation, I was getting the 5s when I was doing shuffling and stuff. And then the Manatee, the 6 of Shells. So again, I do want to pull from the Manatee. I love manatees. They're adorable. Slow moving, explore, be content and find pleasure in the simple joys. I think here, you know, it feels really similar to me to the I guess to its traditional but there's, you know, there's like a lot of negative out there. I don't really know if there's, you know, I don't have all the answers. I don't know if there's more negative in the world than there ever has been, or if it just feels that way because we're consistently inundated with the negative. But if we turn away from it, you know, we worry that we'll miss something and that something essentially will come for us. It's really important during this time to focus on positivity. It's important to find those little happy moments, silly little things that make us happy. Even if it's just getting a scoop of ice cream in our coffee, you know? It's like just simple things to bring us joy in our lives. And I think that's something you probably need right now if the guides have me pull that card for you, is just leave some of the negativity behind and focus yourself on the things that do make you happy. And then the Blue Jay, the Five of Swords, act in alignment with your highest truth. So I think that's what you're trying to do, especially if you're reaching out for a spirit guide reading. You're listening to your guides, you're seeing messages, you're seeing signs. You are working to align yourself with your highest meaning, or yeah, highest truth. I'm sorry. And what's cool is the Blue Jay is a symbol of truth and clarity and vision. So again, that's a lot of intuition that we're picking up here. Strong intuition in this one. Yeah. So I don't know why I did that with the voice. I don't know what that was. And then the Scorpion. Well, I'm a Scorpio, so I love it. See clearly, feel deeply, think creatively. Creatively. I can't say that word right now. I swear. So here, you know, again with that destruction, that sadness, the darkness that's on the earth right now, you know, find the positive, you know, and here we have lots of struggle, competition, working really hard. We can lose that positive a lot in that moment, those moments. And then here again with the feathers, with the Blue Jay, it's that intuition that I see inside of you. So I think overall your guide is just wanting to really reach out. I would watch for those double fives. I feel like you're going into, like, heading into an awesome phase in your life. I really feel like you're going to be seeing major shifts if you haven't started already, though I feel like you probably have. There's been some things popping up lately that you are starting to question. You know, how many coincidences can there really be in the world when things like this happen? There's no coincidences. It's like it's all this giant cycle, this circle of life that's continuously moving and flowing together. Oh, yeah, remember? Cycles and rhythms all the way back there like an hour ago. So that is, you know, everything is just flowing and moving, and there's going to be times where you are full of information. There's going to be times where you are full of doubt. There's going to be times when you are plugging forward, and there's going to be times where you're just too busy with the you know, the mundane stuff that we all get lost in the world to even think about your spiritual path. But I think the focus here is to hone in your positivity. Think, you know, drop negative self-talk towards yourself. And then really finding and focusing on positive within the world, and letting a lot of the negative go, or, you know, pretend like the negative just doesn't exist. I mean, there's times, like if you're involved in charity, of course, obviously, or, you know, foundations, you're going to have to focus on some of that negativity and work through it. But you can turn your, it's going to sound bad, but you can turn away from, you can turn away from the news. You can turn away from people having Facebook arguments or friends having catty disagreements with each other. These are within your power to turn away from. We can't turn away from all the negative things in the world, because then we just become these hermits that don't change anything, you know? But you have the power to turn your back towards the negative things that are not really doing anything except for creating more negativity, if that makes sense to you. Don't allow other people's fires to fuel your self-doubt, essentially. You have like this great gift inside of you, and I feel like it's been unwinding probably over the last, I want to say like 7.5 months. I don't know, that's just the number that comes to me. Maybe it's 7.5 weeks, but I just feel like that number. And so I feel like this has been unwinding and awakening inside of you. And I just feel like it's going to just grow even more and more as time goes on. But I hope you enjoyed your reading, and I hope you're still here even though I talked for an hour. But thank you so much for letting me read for you, and thank you so much for your patience. We had our anniversary, and then right after, like seconds after our anniversary, I had a have a minor surgery and medical issue and everything. So it was late all week on everything. That's why I put my whole shop on sale. So I just really appreciate your patience and everything. So I hope this reading finds you in peace, and I hope you have a really blessed rest of your week.